Good evening. Welcome to Chicago. At any rate, very glad to be here. But can you tell what kind of fan I am? Can you tell? I love the Cubs. I love the Bears. Now the Cubs are going to win, depending on the series. The Bears, well, it's up in the air. But one thing I will say, the Chicago teams, we love both of them, along with the Blackhawks. By the way, here you go. Manhood Shelter at yahoo.com. Also, if you have a gripe with the city, there you go, Chicago Inspector General. That's the number. Please utilize it. Anyway, I have one other thing here. I always like to say connection, understanding, belonging, affection. These are the very key elements in our lives and our interrelationships with other people. Now, okay. Now, there's some things I want to get straight, because you need to know this. Racism as opposed to prejudice. In order to be a racist, you have to have the power. We're talking about the primary culture. And once a minority reaches a majority, they hate a minority. I'll repeat. Once a minority reaches a majority, they hate a minority. What does that mean? That means once I get in power, I'm a little man. Once I become the big man, I do not want a little man to come up behind me and take my power. We need to realize that. So it's about power and control, not race. Racism, a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. If you believe that hogwash, then you're crazy. See, that's just a ploy. While you're thinking about that, the person's taking the power, usurped your power, and moving on. So don't get hung up with a question of semantics. Prejudice and adverse opinion are leaning form without just ground. An adverse opinion are leaning formed without just grounds or before sufficient knowledge. In other words, I start disliking you because of your skin color, but I don't even know you. But what I've heard leads me to believe that you might be that person. So today's victim becomes tomorrow's villain. It's also an irrational attitude of hostility directed against an individual, a group, a race, or their supposed characteristics. Supposed characteristics. Brown skin, large nose, woolly hair. Now, does that mean you don't like me because of that? How foolish can you get? Here's what can save us. See that word behind me? Educating our children? The function of education is to teach one to think intensely and to think critically. Dr. King said that. He also said the greatest problem lies in sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. You have a moral obligation to make intelligent decisions. Why aren't we making them? Because you know what? The power of suggestion. Caller, go ahead, you're on the air. Caller, you're on the air. Question
yes,
or concern?
Sir. Hello.
Hey.
You know what another trace of racism is?
Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
When the mayor of your city, now you just had a multi-million-dollar deal with the Chinese people to build here in Chicago. Not one Hispanic, not one African-American company got a job.
Really?
Now to double on that, to see that he would care, he just got the trauma center, another hundreds of millions of dollars, and guess what? There's not one on there either. The racism starts at the beginning. Give us our jobs that we're supposed to have, and you'll see the city get much, much better. But if you keep giving it to you know who, we're never going to be right. We're going to be in our ghettos, and we're going to be in our barrios. causing trouble. So please, it's such a time, and it's the alderman with him, the Black Caucus and the Hispanic, and guess what? They vote with him. So we got to get them people out too. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, thank you, Ray. Thank you very much. Did you know Chicago, since the year began, has more murders than New York and Los Angeles combined? August alone, 90 murders. Combined 469 murders, an increase of 50%, 2,273 shootings, 1,804 wounded. And the total now in terms of shootings is 3,000. Sorry about that. The purpose of education is to transmit from one generation to the next the accumulated wisdom and knowledge of the society and prepare children for their future participation in the maintenance and development of our society. It's not happening. There's a book called I Ching. The I Ching is an ancient Chinese text known also as the Book of Changes. It is one of the earliest known types of divination or means of foretelling the future. But more importantly, the I Ching is a perception for how to live well. It's a prescription for how to live well. Go ahead, call you on there. Go ahead. It's a prescription for how to live well. Go ahead, call you on there. Go ahead. It's a prescription for how to live well.
Hello?
Yeah, lower your TV. Lower your TV.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, okay, now go ahead.
Okay, so I was wondering, can you tell us where you got your definitions of racism from? Because I've heard that racism was a power dynamic from Francis Cress Wilson. And it's not about an inherent belief about your differences, but it's about telling people where they can live and where they can educate themselves at, where they can house themselves, and where they can perform work and so forth. Like, I heard racism is a power dynamic, and no black could be racist. No black person can be racist if we don't have the power to tell a person where to live and so forth.
Okay, right. It's about power. It's about power and control. But and you got a good point, because racism deals with power and control, and the dominant culture is the dominant culture that that calls the shots. And that's why I said, once a minority reaches a majority, they hate a minority. And you're right. If we became, if say African American got into power as a minority and we became a majority, then we start little things like saying that this is wrong, that's wrong, to keep control and keep the masses under us. But you're right, it's about power. Carly on there, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, and how you doing today?
Hey!
And listen, go Cubs too, and the Bears. Trust me. But listen, that young man that just spoke, he just said something that truly people don't truly understand. Racism is a lot of definitions.
It's true.
There's a lot of definitions to racism, and number one, we deal with people through our life that maybe have to deal with people such as you, even to get grants and things of that nature.
Yes, true.
You have to deal with people that don't like you and you don't like them. But you at the table enjoying your conversation, and it's like a chess game. You're trying to run over him, and so before he run over you. See, sometimes people have to think we have came a long ways in many ways, not just financially, educationally. We are a bunch of people that thinks a lot. We're not the yes sir. So again, we're going back to racism. Racism is something. Someone asked me a question today, and I'm going to ask you this.
Go ahead.
Is Donald Trump a racist? Now, my definition is this. He cannot be a racist. He deals with Chinese. He deals with every race, every color. People that have money do deal with different people. But do they like you? that's another different story. If you don't like yourself, how can you like anyone else? So that's
Well
the way
put.
I look at things. You know, you always have a hell of a good show. I can't wait to see you. Real quick, I'm going to give you the score for the Bears. Bears going to win another 6 games this season, and we're going all the way with the
With
Cubs.
the
Matter of
Cubs.
fact, go Cubs, go, if anyone listening. Let me get out there so I can hear your
I got
response.
some more
And what
stuff
do
for
you
you,
think
so
about
stay tuned. I got some more stuff. But thank you. All right, look here. Listen to this now. The liberties of a people never were nor ever will be secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them. That was Patrick Henry. He was a revolutionary, fighting against the British. Carly, on there, go ahead.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi, I was just going to say for the last caller, Donald Trump is definitely racist. There's no two ways about that.
you think
You know
so?
what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm sure. Because
Okay.
racism is a power dynamic. I mean, he's not working with somebody who he thinks is inferior. He's working with somebody who can forward his agenda. You know what I'm saying? His agenda doesn't include Mexicans and Arabs and so forth. It definitely doesn't include blacks. And so by definition, he is a racist. There is no two ways about that. I mean, if you can get a pastor to say that he's an okay guy, and Deuteronomy 28 and 68 explains that the people who held us as slaves are our enemies. This is what God says. Deuteronomy 28 and 68 says that we are God's chosen, and we will be sold to our enemies. And so, even though they may never do anything to you, God sees them as your enemy. And so, what could be more plain than that?
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your belief. I'm going to read this again because we're getting ready to get into some deep stuff right now. The liberties of a people never were nor ever will be secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them. That was Patrick Henry. Now, the reason why I bring that up, and that quotation, this is the reason why. The book of the week, Chicago's Not Broke, by Tom Tressner. Now, this is a compilation of a bunch of other writers who give us 3 reasons why. And here's one. Corrupt politicians that steal from Chicago citizens through a concerted, organized machine. Think about what I'm saying there. Think about what he's saying. Number 2. Now, I want you to listen and comment. Number 2. Slush funds, toxic bank deals that are done that you know nothing about. This is what Patrick Henry was talking about. When your rulers do things that are concealed from you and you put them in power to deal with your best interests. Taxation without representation. Now 3, police shootings. Check this out. Since 2004, we've spent $7.5 billion for them to shoot you down like a dog and then cover it up. And that's the reason why in other cities they got the police liability. Because if you're going to shoot somebody, hey, take responsibility and pay for it. Although a life is much more than money. And to deal with what we've been dealing with, I brought up prejudice and racism for a reason. In this town, what do you think? What do you think? Look at it. They say that Chicago is one of the most prejudiced towns in the United States. Look at the school system. Look what's happening. Now, here's another piece of tidbit. TIF. Emmanuel is sitting on the TIF money to the tune of $1.36 billion since January 2016. And another one, financial trade money that hasn't been collected. And money that's been taken from one pot, put in another. And all these construction companies you see, how many people of color do you see on the mainstream? See, well, why do you sit back? You know what, you need to have these on. You need to have these on, because you know why? You're not looking. You don't see nothing. And reading, look, if you was reading all this stuff, you'd be angry. And that's what they prey on, young people. Now, one good thing I have to say. Alderman Bill, thank you. Thank you very much. This brother around the 87th Street in the Chesterfield area, he's doing wonders. One thing I was on him, but I see what's happening. From 95th to 87th, they're paving the street, which the Dowley needed it. And then on the side streets, he's taking care of that too. So that's one alderman I can say is doing his job. Now the rest of them, I don't know. I know one thing, you're making $117,000 a year, plus you got a $1 million expense account. Why aren't you doing your job? Why can't you answer the phone? You know, why can't you deal with your constituency? Oh, there's another issue here too that took a lot of money. CPS. Now you close those schools down, what are you going to do with them? They're sitting there, and at taxpayers' expense. The water bill is going up. Sewer bill is going up. What's up with that? And you sitting on a gold mine? I need some calls to call in. I need somebody that has some sense to talk to me about this. Because I tell you, I'm at a loss here. That we can sit back idly and let this little man do what he does with a Napoleonic complex. But anyway, that's another story. Now Treshner, along with some other editors from the Tribune, Sun-Times, came up with this. So it's not me saying this. Call you on the air. Question or concern. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for talking about Alderman Bill, because crooked Alderman Brooke Shields is not doing anything. He's not doing anything.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. See, this is what I'm talking about. When your alderman fails to produce, that affects you. It affects the pocketbook, because look at it. His irresponsibility becomes your responsibility. You know, that woman just, she called in, complaining about an alderman. That's what I want you to do. Call in on there. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir.
Yes. First of all, you're right on the money with your comments in regards to where is this money going, like this ghost money. First of all, let me just interject this.
Go ahead.
Our accounting, it was pointed out years ago that the accounting budget of Chicago, Illinois, is not a real, true accounting budget because they don't balance out the books for each year.
Mm-hmm.
They roll it over to the next year. Now, the other thing is, on 75th and Stony Island, a main avenue that everyone uses coming from the suburbs going to Loop. On 71st, that
right, I know.
intersection. It's like bumpy for years and years. You think that someone at some point in time would fix that street on 75th and Stony Island. But like you said, with the shades on, people don't see. They don't open their eyes. They're sleeping. And also in regards to the red lights and the traffic lights,
yeah.
this nature with these cameras, where's all that money going? First it was the lotto, now it's the camera money.
And you know what? That lotto money was supposed to be for education, along with the toll road. It never materialized.
That's correct. Now, I'm going to tell everyone about this right now. I'm sure a lot of your listeners will coincide with my comment. On 55th by Washington Park, they got a zone there. That one camera, I got on the computer and looked it up. That one camera is close to $4 million. Just that one camera has earned the city of Chicago, just that one camera on 55th, because what they do is they use the schools that are not right on 55th, and they try to say, well, that you're in a school zone. Now it's from 30 to 20 mile an hour zone, $100 tickets because you were going 30,
right.
And all of a sudden it jumped to 20. So anyway, I'm going to rest my case because I know there's other people want to call in. But I applaud you, sir, for your program. Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Hey, everybody loves the kudo. Listen, what he just said about the red lights is so true. You know it's a big scandal. The guy went to jail for that. He made millions of dollars, red flex. So where's the money going? Why haven't you got rid of it? And why you go for $35, charge it to $100? Now there's a class action lawsuit on this, and it should materialize, because if they lose, the city will have to give that money back. And right now it's a ripoff. At one point in time, you got a red light ticket, and then it was $35, right? About a week later, they had doubled it. Then they had the Sun-Times came out with a piece called "A Manual, Sleight of Hand." Look, I don't need anybody in the office, trying to be, a two-card Molly. You know what that is, you know, doing this and tricking folks. Now, it's time to be legit. You say you want to be transparent. By the way, where are the money that the red light tickets, Emmanuel, that you have come across, have you paid them? And why don't you make that public? And by the way, what about the people that work for you? Do they get tickets? And what happens to those tickets when they get them? People out there, you need to, and look at, I keep telling you, take these off. Take them off. Like Patrick Henry said, when you have a ruler that conceals things from you, then you no longer need that ruler. Caller, go ahead, you're on the air. Go ahead. Caller?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, you're on the air, sir.
Make a long story short, I won a court case against, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah, I won a court case against the City of Chicago Law Department and the Finance Department. Yeah.
How'd you do it?
And after I won the case, I went to get the rewards for them destroying my property, basically. Police destroyed my property. And they never, to this day, have honored the court order to pay me back for destroying my property.
Here.
And I've been called in between.
Here.
Response, try to get help.
Hey.
General's office, try to get help. But
let me give you this number.
Chicago owes me.
Let me get his number.
It's like $7,000, almost $10,000, I should say.
Here.
And this is a court case that I won in a from a judge.
See this?
Against their law department.
See this?
And the finance department.
Look, call them.
That's who I called. I gave them the information.
You did?
Already. Heard back from them in about a month. So.
Hey, keep us posted on that, please, okay? Young people, you see what's happening?
I will call again then. I'll try to call again to follow up.
Right, and then call here every Friday, okay?
Okay.
Hey, thanks, man. Thank you a lot.
All right.
People, unless you get up off your duff and do something about this stuff, we're in trouble. See, apathy, indifference. When you keep saying, oh, it'll get better, it won't get better, because you know what they want you to do? They want you to keep dumbing down, and as always, pretty soon you stop doing this and move on to something else. But when you start documenting, and when you call the law department, we can get something done in a concerted effort. That's the reason why we have this program. And I'm glad that people will call in, because I want them to see what's going on. Remember what Patrick Henry said. When your rulers that you put into power start concealing from you and thinking you're a damn fool, you see what happens? They continue to do the thing, and it only escalates. And by the way, if your alderman's not doing anything, give him a blast on this TV show. Give him a blast. Like, I commend Bill for what he did, and he's doing a good job thus far. Like a young lady called in on somebody else. We got to hold them accountable. Because if you don't hold them accountable, it's running rampant. Look what's happening. This man's sitting on $1.36 billion in the TIF funds. Where is it going? And this banking, toxic bank deals, trades that you're not even, collecting money on. Look here, construction companies that you're dealing with that I don't really see that many blacks or Hispanics on the streets. What's happening with that? Until you open your mouth and start doing something about it, and I really should use this pen, because the pen is mightier than a sword. And it truly is. It truly is. Now, I love Chicago and everything in it, but I don't like when we hire people to deal with our interests and they don't. See, it gotta go. They have to go, folks. I got, 26 minutes. Listen. If you feel as though you run out of rope, tie a knot and hang on. Everything's going to be okay. I can assure you. And thank you for your participation.